All right, a very good morning and welcome to the second day of July 2026. This is TV47 Breakfast. Asante sana for making time for us this morning. My name is Annie Odida. How hot is your coffee this morning?
That is a probing question early in the morning. Yes, how hot is your coffee this morning? And thank you for joining us here on TV47, trusting that you had a lovely restorative night, as they always say, and you're ready to face the second day?
Yep, second day of July, second day of the first financial year, 2026, second day of the second half of 2026. So a lot is really happening today. World Cup yesterday, you watched?
Yes, oh my God. It was a heart-wrenching moment for Watoto wa Mungu. Watoto wa Mungu, of course, DRC Congo, yesterday, they really put out their best effort within the first half of the match. We were just, it was a nail-biting, a tournament against England yesterday. So, Hurricane hurried with all these 2 goals, towards the end to just now kick out Congo from the World Cup. But they really put out a very good show. I mean, kudos to them. Kudos. I mean, that was a formidable tight.
Yeah.
But along the way, now just defending that first goal, I think the energy tapered off at some points. Yeah. So I really felt bad.
How about Senegal?
Senegal, we're here to see. Right? We're here to see. Yeah. So that is the African team that we're putting all our hopes in now.
All right. So we'll be bringing details.
Okay. I went to sleep. It is out. I'm being told by the director it's out. So I thought actually they had not played. Oh, so.
Yeah, 1:30. So the director is in this morning and he was up.
He was up, so yeah. If I watched, I wouldn't be on this show today. My eyes will be smarting. So the only team that we are hoping now will do something is Morocco.
Morocco, right? Because Senegal is already out of the game. 3-1. Congo is out as well, so it's only Morocco. But Koskola, a sound technician, was telling me that Morocco, they don't view themselves as Africans.
Of course, they've always, that particular region, not only just the Moroccans, and we don't want to get into that particular stories as well. There's so many, even here in the East African region, there are people who say, us, we are not the real African. Yeah, nyinyi watu wa nywele ngumu. Yeah, so they always believe, if you go back to history, that even looking at the tone of your skin, yeah, they're not. But they're Africans. I mean, they're within the continent.
So at least we could support Morocco this time around. So globally, it's also World Tutors Day today. And
World
Tutors.
Oh, tutors.
Tutors Day.
When I'm here with you, it is always World Tea Day.
Hey.
So it is falling again in July, the World Tea Day.
Yeah. I think it's usually sometime in October, November there. Yeah. So it's World Tutors Day today. It's also there's World Sports Journalists Day. So that's quite interesting. I think I'm going to wish sports reporters and journalists happy World Sports Journalists Day here at TV47. We have Tony Kwalanda, Alan Zuki, Duncan Mutua, and Boniface Kimanzi, Fred Arocho. There are many here, TV47.
The passion they display, during the commentaries and analyzing, just how you as a sports journalist, you're living your passion. We can see, and your bias can be seen as well.
Right.
So I think that is a very tricky area to be a journalist, that you have to be objective as a sports journalist. And man, you're rooting for your team, and your team is not doing well.
And World Cup is going on. So Kakazema, all of you, happy World Sports Journalist Day to do. It's Freedom from Fear of Speaking Day. This one caught my eye because they're saying that sometimes, it's all about helping people break free from the worry that holds them back when they speak in public. When you're having sweaty palms, your voice is shaking when you're speaking in public, and then you're having these small heartbeats.
So they call it glossophobia? Is it glossophobia?
Glossophobia,
yeah.
Right.
Oh,
That is glossophobia. So Freedom from Fear of Speaking Day, it's today.
But you don't have to, fear speaking or public speaking. There is Toastmasters. Yeah. If you go to Toastmasters, if you've not, and I know now, when I was in Toastmasters, we just had only 2 clubs, Kenya Kwanza and which other I forget, and Sema Club, yeah. So Sema Club was in Parklands, and Kenya Kwanza they still meet at United Club of Kenya. So there you can go and hone up your skills on public speaking and just shed off all these fears of public speaking, because they take you through a very nice curricula on how to stand, how to articulate, how to enunciate your words, how to use to avoid crutches, which we normally have the arms, and we journalists have a lot of that. At least me, I'll still have the crutches. Yeah. So how then do you get away those crutches? How then also do you have correct grammar? So they take you through that particular series, and you speak before members, and they tend to correct you. Oh wow! So that could be another way that you can chase away the glossophobia. Yeah, right. So at this point, these are what are shaping conversations globally. But let's get back home and take a look at the state of the weather this morning. It's not as cold as it was yesterday. So let's see how the weather is looking this morning across the country. All right, let's take a look at the state of the weather now this morning. Karatini, this morning is 13 degrees, highs of 21 degrees expected today. Kakamega, there will be scattered thunderstorms, 18 degrees this morning, highs of 25 degrees. Scattered thunderstorms as well will be experienced in Kisii County, 17 degrees this morning, highs of 25 degrees in Kisii County. We take a look at Kericho. It's likely to rain there today. This morning it's 14 degrees. Highs of 22 degrees expected in Kericho County today. Kajiado County is a cloudy day. 13 degrees this morning. Highs of 24 degrees. And Kiambu County, 13 degrees this morning. It's a cloudy day. Highs of 23 degrees expected in Kiambu today. That's the state of the weather. All right, let's come back and take a look at the quote of the day. Bring your A game always, not just sometimes. Showing up fully every time guarantees growth, trust, and security in your role. All right, let's see who we have this morning on the show. Dibal, who do you have? Who are we expecting this morning at the State of the Nation? Yes, they're there. And of course, we shall be joined by Danson Mungatana. That is the Daktari, Senator Tana River. Also, we have Felicity Nkiraote. That is a governance expert. And Wilson Sossion, a veteran educationist and former MP as well. So we're looking forward to a very promising discussion, looking also on the gender issue when it comes to the cabinets, the reconstitution, the orders from the court within 120 days. President William Ruto should have done something to make sure that the cabinet is properly constituted. That is not a violation of the constitution as it's demanded. Yes, then later on, being a Thursday, we talk matters health. We'll be talking about medication misuse. Are Kenyans self-medicating too much? That is a question you're also asking you online. Dr. Victor Ngani will be here for that conversation. After that, we'll be talking about men. So we're asking, real men cry? Do real men cry? Yeah. But I don't know if you've ever heard of Tim McGraw. Tim McGraw is also a modern country music singer. And there's a song that say, who said that men don't cry? Yes. Right? Men also should cry. Why were we given tears? Real men cry. It's pathetic, it's hata wewe unaliaga. My director says that I'm the only one who cries. Yeah, I get into a weepy teary mode, especially when I come before the Lord.
I will see you.
And I'm really broken. And I just feel, the depravity of my humanity and how I am. And I just feel the tears, causing.
I can see how you're talking about it so passionately.
Yes.
I believe you. I believe you.
You believe me?
I believe
Fantastic. Yeah. So that's why you find people now, they are taking bang. If they're not smoking, probably even Manu, our director here. Yeah. It could be on that particular course.
He's taking something.
Yeah. I know he comes from that area where they call it Omsara. Where is Omsara? I need the Omsara this morning.
Let's come back and take a look at the headlines this morning.
Yes. All right, so let's see what is in the dailies this morning. We begin with the Daily Nation, and this is what you're waking up to. PS caught up in man's killing probe is a splash. Who is falling whom? The official guards say a mob attacked them, but this account is disputed. That is what the flagger is reading there on top. Tragedy. On Tuesday, Youth Affairs Principal Secretary Fikirini Jacobs attended a public event at Kariokor Social Hall in Starehe, Nairobi, which would have been another routine official function were it not for its tragic endings. The PS's bodyguard reportedly shot dead Cecil Ouma, a youth leader, under disputed circumstances. A criminal investigation is now underway, and the PS is among those expected to record a statement with police. And you have the full story there on page 4 of the Daily Nation today. We have here a pull-out quote from Nairobi Police Boss Isa Mohammed saying, "We have summoned him," that is the PS, "to record his statement. Everyone who was involved in the incident must record a statement." Also still on the front page of the Daily Nation, will Ruto replace 2 men in cabinet with women? That is another attended question regarding the gender rule, and you can see that is a president chairing the cabinet meeting at State House Nairobi on Tuesday, and this story is well fleshed out for you on page 7 of the Daily Nation this morning. This will form also a good part and chunk of our conversation with the panelist this morning. This has been, of course, doggedly following us even with the previous regime, where we saw the CJ Emeritus as well, that is David Maraga, issuing a dissolution notice or letter to the former president, Uhuru Kenyatta. And that letter now, the recent, of course, report is that has become, say, obsolete, because it's not really functional since then. So I think the court also made a determination on it. I'm yet to give the paraphrasing what they really say regarding it. But that will also form a good conversation there. 10 counties where suppliers have waited for the longest for pay. And we're talking about pending bills. Many have really suffered. And also Kenya scientists receive 187 million shillings grant to predict disease outbreaks. This is on page 3. And I think in light of what you're saying this morning, today is World Tutors Day, which is good. And I know they've been decrying research funds that from government has been paltry. Looking at list in the finance or the budgetary allocation that we had this year, they've done a good job in terms of also just dedicating or allocating some budgets for the research. Because we have researchers, the lecturers here, the university have been crying foul that the government is not really supportive when it comes to research. So how then do we go full steam ahead in making some breakthrough interventions through research, yet we're underfunded. So this is a good gesture from Bill Gates, 187 million shillings. And this is Dr. Samuel Oyola, who is receiving this huge eye-popping figure, a grant from the Gates Foundation to predict diseases using wastewater. And it's all about also using AI tools as well.
All right, that's
the Daily Nation. Let me just see, because we're looking on the back page of the Daily Nation, is Kwaebi destined to repeat Morocco's Qatar 2022 magic? That is a question. Giant killers coach guided the North Africans under-20 World Cup in 2025 in Chile. And that is a story that you want to follow inside the daily today on the back page.
All right, let's take a look at Taifa Leo and Nani Atatemwa. That's the main story on the front page this morning. Talks about the cabinet secretary arrangement that Rais William Ruto anakabiliwa na kibarua kigumu cha kisiasa baada ya mahakama makuu kutoa uamuzi kwa baraza lake la mawaziri halikidhi matakwa ya katiba kwa sababu halijatimiza sheria ya uwakilishi wa thuluthi mbili ya kijinsia. Uamuzi huo unaweza kumlazimu kuwaondoa mawaziri wawili wa kiume, hali ambayo inaweza kuvutia mtazamo wa kisiasa kuelekea uchaguzi mkuu wa mwaka ujao. Swali ni nani atabwagwa kuwapisha mawaziri wa kike? Habari kamili katika ukurasa wa pili wa gazeti hili. Katiba inamruhusu rais kuteua mawaziri 22 pekee na mahakama inasisitiza lazima kuwe na usawa wa kijinsia. So out of 22 cabinet secretaries, there are only 6 women cabinet secretaries in President William Ruto's cabinet. So that means the men are 16. So 16, and then we have 6 women. That is 22. So nani atatemwa? Wote wako hapa mbele katika ukurasa wa mbele wa gazeti hili. Vidokezo zaidi, masharti ya wazazi wa utumishi wataja hatua za usalama wanazotaka zitekelezwe kuzuia janga la moto tena. Habari hiyo katika ukurasa wa 3. UDA na ODM zapambania ubabe Pwani. Maandamano ya Sabasaba yazua joto Tanzania ni habari nyingine katika ukurasa wa 8. Kule juu, Murang'o na Babu ndio wachapa kazi. Utafiti wa Infotrack waonyesha wawili hao walitumia fedha vizuri. Hiyo ni habari katika ukurasa wa 3, na masuala ya spoti pia imezungumziwa hapo juu. Ivory Coast nje, Ufaransa kifua mbele ni habari katika ukurasa wa 20 gazeti la Taifa Leo.
All right, so let's see what we have on the front page of the Standard. And this is a splash, Be the Judge. Be the Judge is all about sadism, and it says, a day after Interior Principal Secretary Raymond Omolo claimed that there was no abductions, the Standard has documented present and past survivors who recounted being held in Communicado, tortured and left for dead by state operatives. Ironically, a government reparations document appears to contradict the PS, listing victims of abduction among those eligible for compensation. With 35 still missing, some of those once abducted now serve as government bloggers and public servants. And this story is on page 4 of the publication. And you can see, right, the splash of faces around him. These are some of the people who were abducted and tortured, as according to the reports there. You can read all about this inside the publication today. Also, just looking back, but let me just flip over there. I think an interesting story that we have also on page 9. Governor put to task over 742 million shillings expenditure procurement queries, and this is all about Kericho Governor Eric Mutahi. Kericho County both spent 5.4 billion shillings, way above their approved 4.7 billion shillings. Senate committee also questioned Mutahi over 541 million industrial park payments. And we just looking at the conversation that we'll be having as well ahead, where we are looking at the MPs and the fact that, yes, they are given those metrics where we can see their work on the ground. How then do you measure the performance of Senate, all right? Yeah. Because it's always navel-gazing on the National Assembly. But the Senate also, they have to be accountable on how they're putting these county governments, you know, to book when it comes to questions of expenditure, procurement propriety. Are they following the procedure? Are they floating it? So then how do we also try to encourage them by showing that they're doing a good job? I think that also is a conversation that we shall be also flagging out. On the back page, lastly, magical Kylian Mbappe dazzles as France march on, right? And Norway and Mexico advance to round of 16. Ronald Koeman resigns as Netherlands head coach after World Cup exit. I like it, you know, you don't hang by the fingernails. If you underperformed, you said, I didn't do my job as it was expected of me. Why should I be here?
Yep. All right. There's a very interesting story still in the Standard on page 3.
Yes.
Don't want to share your number? WhatsApp has got you covered. Now, there's a new feature that lets users connect without sharing phone numbers, and they say this is to enhance privacy. That move is part of a wider push by tech firms to enhance privacy and expand AI usage. So if you don't want to give somebody your number, WhatsApp is now giving you the option of giving somebody your username, the way you have a username on Instagram, on X, on Facebook. So you can tell them, you know, my username is Anodida, and then they're going to search Anodida, and then they can send you a message. I think that's not as much privacy as they say, because now if I don't want you to talk to me, anyone can now talk to me, because now they're going to easily find my username.
Yeah, but looking at the different dynamics of people using your number, you know, to send you some marketing things at the end of the day, you know, those cold calls that you normally get.
Now,
that's all really help.
They'll still send if they have my username.
But they can't really call you. At least you can ignore to read the messages.
You just have my number and send me money on that number.
Can they call? Can they call now your name? They can't call your name, isn't it? Right?
People Daily. Now, how youth vote could save and sink big names in 2027. It has a story on page 8. They call it election wildcard. That apathy, notable evident among the 18 to 35 demographic, could be a thing of the past in next year's polls and beyond, since both Gen Z and millennials would wish to correct wrongs of the political elite. That is, once again, a story on page 8. Toothless referee, why policy gaps leave IEBC powerless against political goons. Another story captured on page 5, and on the top strip of the People Daily, how crooks are finding it easy to grab public land. And that's the People Daily this morning. Let's take a look at the Star. Yes,
the Star. And it's all about the ranking of the MPs, which is they set sight on governor's seat, finding signals what is likely to be fiercely contested county races. And the other faces there, top performers or top performing members of parliament are all spread here. Babu Owino leading with 80%, followed by Didmas Baraza Kimilili, MP, 73%. Also Mark Nyamita Uriri, right, 71%. David Ochieng Ugenya, 70, 69. Muhammad Ali Nyali Ambuko Milemba Emohaya at 69%. Makali Mulu, Kitui Central, 68%. We have Timothy Wanyonyi, Westland, 65%. James Gakuya, Embakasi North, 73%. And Kamau Murango, in Kirinyaga, they are at 69%. Guess who's missing also on this? Is normally also flagged here, right?
Yeah.
Ndindi Nyoro. So Ndindi Nyoro also has been, of course, previously flagged as a very
top performer
when it comes to his constituency, but now he is missing. Maybe he's not on the face of the front page of a Star, but elsewhere I'll look out. But also, as we even were talking, the senators as well, they flagged out some of the best performers that I was saying. What metrics do they normally use to shore up some of the senators that are performing very well? And these are also inside the Star. Let me just flip over there to just also read some of them that I can give you a full snippet of what they're saying there, page 4 and 5 of the Star. So we have also Aaron Cheriot on the list there. I'm holding court with Mungatana. If he's missing here, I'll ask him what's happening in Tana River. Let me see if, so here they are. We have Kamau Murango from Kirinyaga. We have also John Methu. We have Joel Newto. We have Samson Cherarkey. We have Aaron Cheriot. And that is also we have Vincent Kiprono, Richard Onyonka, Dan Manzo, Edwin Sifuna. And we have Steve Lelegwa, Ali Roba, amongst others as well, we shall be looking at, and women reps as well also. They're all spread here.
All right, let's see what's making headlines now on the front page of the Business Daily as well. Where investors made money in first half of year, NSE offers highest returns on banks-led rally, and Treasury bonds emerge second in asset class return race. That has been captured on page 2. Remember, the financial year began yesterday, so that's a story to watch. Audit reveals hiring scam in Attorney General's office. Wow, that's another story on page 2. Or the ticker, World Bank adds 588 billion shillings to Kenya's public debt stock. Court abolishes mandatory deposits in tender disputes. And of course, Shah family pepper wealth doubles to 17 billion shillings on I&M Group share rally. These are the stories making headlines in the country. Tuvuke kule border, we take a look at what's happening.
Before we go to the border, I think I missed a story here in the Star that we need to honor this police constable. He is in Canada. This is a Kenyan-born constable. He's called Maloba. He's recognized by Ottawa Police Service for promoting inclusive policing, strengthening engagement with communities. This is on page 3 of a Star. And it says the Kenyan community in Canada is celebrating a moment of pride and recognition following the honor bestowed on a Kenyan-born police officer serving in the country's police service. Constable Idris Maloba, who is serving in Canada, has been recognized by the Ottawa Police Service for his contribution to promoting equity, diversity, and inclusion. Congratulations, Mr. Maloba.
Congratulations, Maloba. All right.
Tuvuke border sasa.
Tuvuke border sasa, and we start off in Uganda. We only have the New Vision this morning because I think Daily Monitor bado wamefungiwa kule kwao. So New Vision, new taxes take effect today. Strategy to finance Uganda's 84.39 trillion shillings budget take effect today in Uganda. Remember, that is happening across the East African region, Uganda, Tanzania, and of course back home here in Kenya. South Africa attacks evacuation of Ugandans start. Yes, at Assisi, Kenya, a lot of Kenyans have been repatriated back home. Government speaks out on nation media closure. That's another story on page 9. And that's the New Vision. That is what is happening in Uganda today. Tuvuke Bongo, you have the Citizen?
Yes, government banks on science to unlock herbal cures. That is what we have as a splash on the front page of the Citizen in Tanzania. Also, Rustam Azizi lands top award for contribution to Tanzania's economy. And you can follow the story on page 2 of the publication this morning. Dar es Salaam renewal set for restart after public outcry is another story. And disability inclusion, or exclusion I should say, costs economy 15 trillion shillings in lost growth. That is a story that you want to follow. The Tanzania iron 60% farmer self-sufficiency in 4 years. That is what also you can follow inside the publication today. That is a Citizen.
All right, still in Tanzania, gazeti la Mwananchi, sababu Chauma kumng'oa mwalimu. Kulingana na Hashim Rungu anasema kwamba mwalimu alikuwa akipoka mamlaka ya mwenyekiti bila idhini yangu. Amekuwa akibadilisha msimamo halali ya chama na kuwasilisha misimamo yake binafsi kana kwamba ndio ya chama. Kutokana na makosa hayo ametenguliwa na nafasi yake itakaimiwa na Kigali hadi uchaguzi utakapofanyika. That is the main headline on the front page of the gazeti la Mwananchi this morning. Sababu Chauma kumng'oa mwalimu. Chauma ni chama ile chama kubwa inaitaje, because Chauma ilitoka and then it was formed out of something.
Inakuwa CCM ama chama gani unasema?
No, there's a Chadema, right, it's Chadema. So other quick headlines here. Undani kifo cha dereva wa Heche anavyoliliwa ni habari nyingine tu. There's the news making headlines in Tanzania and of course across the region in Uganda and Tanzania. Turudi sasa and take a look at what cartoonists are saying this morning. We start off with the one on the, I think this is the Star, right? The cartoonists on the Star, Ozone, is it? Ozone is the Star?
Ozone, yes. Yeah, Ozone is the Star.
Ozone is the Star. It talks about what is happening in the cabinet and the High Court's ruling yesterday. Court said fit 2/3 on that cabinet. And the cabinet here looks fixed. There's a caricature here of President William Ruto scratching his head. Nani atatemwa? Taifa Leo inauliza hilo swali asubuhi ya leo. So that is what has been captured on the caricature this morning, the Star.
All right, let's see what we have also in the People Daily, according to Stano, and this is what is in the People Daily. This is how IBC will deal with goons next year. They're drawing the line. That is the Tallying Center. Yeah, so we've had IBC saying, yeah, they're going to be dealing with the goons factor, trying to restrain the politicians using the goons as far as elections is concerned. But we wonder, in what framework do they, I don't know, we're yet to see what they'll stipulate as far as making sure these goons are reined in. This is the caricature that you have inside People Daily this morning. All
right, the one on the Daily Nation. Still matters court here. Court says give the cash cow a break. This is with regards to the mandatory inspection that has been halted. NTSA, had wanted to impose that mandatory inspection on 4-year-olds' cars, right? Right. So court inasema give the cash cow a break.
Yeah. So you can see the cash cow there. The udder is being, of course, milked, and they always use the cow to show you how Kenyans are being tasked. Very emaciated, but still we're trying to milk it and milk it. Give the cash cow a break. This is what has been captured there by Victor in the Daily Nation.
Finally, the one on the Standard. Do you have it?
Yes, by GAMS. The Great Migration. That is all about wildebeest. So the Great Migration and, of course, Parliament. It's a time to buy my re-election. So there will be great migration on that particular level, going back to the constituency. And you can see they're carrying a bag with a wad of cash inside, I presume. So this is what they're going to be used as their tool to try and lure the electorate on the ground, according to GAMS. So they're going to be a great migration soon.
Right. So these are, once again, what has been captured on the dailies this morning. Once again, on the State of the Nation, your guests.
Yes, and I can see them here already in studio up in Ali. We shall be joined by Wilson Susion, former MP and veteran educationist. Also Felicity Nkirote is with us, governor's expert, and momentarily as well, Dr. Damson Mungatana, Senator of Tana River.
Right, being Thursday, matters health, medication misuse. Are Kenyans self-medicating too much? And do real men cry? We'll be breaking the myths around masculinity with a panel of men this morning. Kama kawaida, every Thursday, that's what we do here. We give men the platform to speak up.
Hey, Dr. Victor Ngani, it's a while since I interviewed this guy.
Yeah?
A while back, if you dial back the time machine, I think when I just began my career. But
so yeah, he's a superstar.
He's a superstar, right? So, and he never ages. It's just the same.
All right. So do interact with us through our socials, TV47 Kenya, on Facebook and on YouTube. On X, it's TV47 Digital. WhatsApp line is also very active, 0793-267-279. They're open for you to send in your feedback, comments, anything you want to send, even a voice note, even a video of yourself, you send them. You can tag us on our personal handles. My handle is at Annie_Dida.
At the ball line, yeah.
Use the hashtag TV47 Breakfast, hashtag story in year to end. We'll see you after the break.
We're smelling coffee. It's time to drink coffee.
Sundays at 8:30 p.m.
Good morning.
You have my rent?
Leo jioni kama tutakuwa tumelipa rent, nauza hii simu yako.
Hamna pesa. I need 3 G's to make my nails today.
Sasa hivi natuhusu aje?
Can I order now? Do you ship? Can I get blinking ones?
Mimi nilikuwa na trade. Nimeekelea kitele yangu. Kitele yangu na trade. Ikikunyuma.
Oh my God. He left me.
Nitumie ni line. Uko nje kuna Wi-Fi.
Why? Hi-Fi?
Wait, so what do we call this dish again?
I have no idea.
The cucumbers are there specifically for my beauty routine.
Tamulini kero umeka kwa beauty product.
Na ameenda.
Tunafaa tukuwe na logo yetu. Like, si ni brand already.
You won't entertain divas. No. I'm not dealing with a man child.
Amazing. Nishapenda hii energy.
Sundays at 8:30 p.m. on TV47. Saturday at 8:30 p.m.
My father used to tell me that our hotel is the home for travelers. I guess I forgot that. Recently, it's been more of a mirror of my own ambition. Ooh, yeah. We might fail. We will probably fail, but not for a lack of trying. So for the last time, and the first time, welcome to Connect In, the best experience in Eastern Central Africa and its environs.
Saturday at 8:30 p.m. on TV47. Wednesdays at 8:30 p.m.
It's a very serious place.
I see that.
Surely. Hey, nyumba.
This is the place.
Just for a few days.
Rule number 2.
Kwani bubu linajua maisha yangu wewe?
That's my seat.
It's a chair.
It was hers.
You know, yeah.
Yes.
You learned the rhythm.
This place is run by structure. Structure.
It is a system. Ni venye tu huu ni system ya skizi.
And what happens if something you haven't chosen enters your day?
Then you move it.
That's not always going to be possible here.
Then you are going to have a problem.
Noted.
What are you planning? To escape from a resort?
This is not a resort, my friend. This is a storage.
Wednesdays at 8:30 p.m. on TV47.
Nairobi, where the hustle never sleeps and neither do the scammers.
Link Up, we are talking about something that's affecting all of us. We are talking trust.
We're diving into the campus life.
Stay fresh, stay safe.
Stay linked up.
My father used to tell me that our hotel is the home for travelers. I guess I forgot that. Recently, it's been more of a mirror of my own ambition. Ooh, yeah. We might fail. We will probably fail, but not for a lack of trying. So for the last time, and the first time, welcome to Connect In, the best experience in Eastern Central Africa and its environs.
This is a very serious place.
I see that.
Surely. Hey, nyumba.
This is the place.
Just for a few days.
Rule number 2.
Kwani Google linajua maisha yangu wewe?
That's my seat.
It's a chair.
It was hers.
You know, yeah.
Yes.
You learned the rhythm.
This place is run by structure. Structure.
It is a system. Ni venye tu huu ni system ya skizi.
And what happens if something you haven't chosen enters your day?
Then you move it.
That's not always going to be possible here.
Then you are going to have a problem.
Noted.
What are you planning? To escape from a resort?
This is not a resort, my friend. This is a storage.
You have to be very careful. Fake money can kill business.
Na leo mko rada yangu.
Small money, kapesa kadogo, big behavior.
I only have big notes.
Alikuwa anatafuta courage.
Yaani nafaje kutengeneza kachumbari na manyanya zinakaa hivi? Ona kiki ni kama kiwaru.
Hiyo inaitwa commitment to the lie. Amejicommit.
Ndio hiyo. Mpatie.
Unajua kama una mtu kitu, hata tu salamu ya kawaida inakaa kama reminder.
Habari yako?
Sintalipa kesho.
Kesho gani when?
Si kesho ya kesho ya tomorrow.
Hiyo time. Mzee ni budi nikamchoka.
Ni budi ni madeni.
Tuesdays at 8:30 p.m.
You have to be very careful. Fake money can kill business.
Na leo mko rada yangu.
Small money, kapesa kadogo, big behavior.
I only have big notes.
Alikuwa anatafuta courage.
Yaani nafaje kutengeneza kachumbari na manyanya zinakaa hivi? Ona.
All right, trust that you're knocking back your coffee and getting refreshed in the morning. Thank you for staying with us here on TV47. We continue with the conversation now with our panelists who are already here. Up in Ali, I'm joined this morning by Felicity Nkirote, a governance expert. Also, I'm joined by Wilson Susion, who is a veteran educationist and also a politician. And we're joined by Dr. Danson Mungatana, who is a senator of Tana River. And we have a raft of issues that we want to interrogate, primarily also that we know the days are ticking off the calendar for President William Ruto as far as reconstituting his cabinet is concerned. 120 days are the days now on the wall for him to make sure that that two-thirds gender rule is effected. And we know this has been a long debated issue in the country, a ticklish one for that matter, if you may remember as well and recall what we had the Judge Emeritus David Maraga saying before he actually exited office. He had issued a letter to the former President Uhuru Kenyatta regarding the dissolution of Parliament, not the dissolution of cabinet on this particular matter, but that particular case as well is null and void according to the recent, of course, information from the judiciary. But we shall get clarity on this moving forward. So how are we faring as far as that particular gender rule is concerned in the country, trying to shake it into place? So let me just try and, of course, wrinkle out some of information from our panelists. But before then, let me hear how they've been faring. Some of them I haven't seen in a long while. And I'll begin with Felicity. Felicity, good to see you. Good morning.
Thank you very much for having me this morning. Good morning. How have you been?
Very well, thank you.
Happy to be here.
Happy to be here as well with you. And thank you for joining us. Susion, good to see you as well.
Yeah,
I can see your coffee is simmering hot. Just as hot as Susion is always in the morning.
And as hot as the day. And that's what the times.
The times.
Yeah.
Let's hear from Dr. Mungatana.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me in the set today. And we've been fine. We've had a bit of challenge in Tana River.
Yeah, the execution style killing there that we had.
We've had some troubles between some two communities. And I believe the security agencies will deal with it. But otherwise, it's been fine.
But what is really stoking this particular unrest between the two communities?
Well, there's the information that is there right now is that some people are talking about ownership of land. The land is not titled. So one community is claiming we came here first, you shouldn't be here. The other community is saying no, we were here before you. So we have an issue about the ownership of that land, and then the extent also, the boundaries of that land that is in dispute is also an issue in question. And then there is a mention of political incitement in between there. So I think the security agencies are looking into it. Some people have been arrested. Some leaders have been arrested also. So we are waiting to see how that investigation goes. But I have been there to comfort some of those who have lost their loved ones. And this is this other part of Tana River that is high up on this other side, towards in between Kitui County and Garissa County, this other side. So I have been there to appeal for peace, but still we have tensions going on there. So our prayer is that everything will be contained. Our people will restrain themselves and give an opportunity to the security agencies to do their work.
But this is not remotely connected to anything to do with the execution style killing that we saw. Was it in Bangale area?
So that is what I'm talking about.
It is still connected.
It is the Bangale area that I'm talking about.
It is the Bangale area.
It is the Bangale area.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So we are hoping that the security will actually contain it. Some arrests have been done. Like I've said, some leaders, community leaders, some people in administration have been arrested, and many people are recording statements. Security operative have been in the field, so we are hoping that it will be contained. So far, we've seen it's calmed down, but I think the real deal is to finally get people to talk and agree on how they are going to coexist, because you cannot, from where I see it, you can't tell people to move away. People must learn to coexist. Here in Nairobi, we live together. In Mombasa, we live together. But then when people are up in the rural areas, they now bring these other issues. And our prayer is that it will come down. Yeah.
Right. Also a big breakthrough, I think, for the counties, with the president now assenting to the county allocation revenue, right? You can tell us more about that, because we shall be primarily looking also at what is happening with the Senate and in regard to the oversight committee, especially within the counties, and the runoff corruption that is still ongoing as well.
Yeah.
But I think that is a huge one.
So the county allocations revenue bill is the second most important bill that the president assents to from the Senate. Because first is the division of revenue bill. This is where now the senators divide the money between what is going to the president and what we are taking as 47 counties. So we are very happy this year. There was an increment again. And so all of us as senators are happy that we got a very good increment. And our prayer is that this continues. Although during William Ruto's time, we have seen the share of the counties continue to increase every year. And it's a positive move. But our prayer is that we should go like the German way. You know, the German system of devolution. The counties, what you call the counties here, the regions, they call them the regions there, they have more money than the central government.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so they're able actually to really plan their things, do their things without...
So they have their own source of revenue?
No, the revenue is collected together.
Together, okay.
And then it's divided, but the percentage that goes to the regions...
It's a bigger share than what remains.
Bigger than what remains in the center. Yeah. So our prayer as senators going forward is that we will reach there, but we really appreciate what the current president has done in terms of moving our share to a higher level. So now, once we pass what we call the DORA, the Division of Revenue Act, when it is signed, now we come to negotiations between senators now who gets what. Mombasa County, Nairobi County cannot get the same. We look at population factors, we look at land mass, we look at so many other factors that we then agree on a formula. Then we say, okay, Tana River has a very large land mass, but you can't get the same as Mombasa because Mombasa is very small, but Mombasa has a very huge population. So they end up getting more than us, you know. So we have all these factors we take into consideration, and then we divide the money. So then the County's Revenue Allocation Act now, the CARA now, is signed by the President. That's what I was getting into to explain to that point. What the President has approved now, it means that every county has its own share of the equitable amount, and each county gets its own share So they are supposed now to function without a problem. Our challenge with the National Treasury,
yes,
which Kenyans need to know, is that the National Treasury has this belief that it is working for the national government only. So we wonder what is wrong with them. When it comes to allocation is different, but when it comes to actual release of exchequer release is what we call them, the monies themselves, they give preference to the national government as opposed to the county government. So you'll find our governors are really struggling. They can stay sometime, a month has passed, it's going to the second month, and then they release. Okay, during, again, credit to the president, during Ruto's time, it has been really good. It has been better than when it was before. Some time back, it used to take even 3 months before you get an exchequer release. But even now, we have that challenge because National Treasury, at the end of the month, wanalipa national government. Governors wanna delay. And then governors, when they are delayed, they have all these problems, you know. They haven't paid workers in the health department. They haven't paid workers in their own administration. So there's a bit of frustration on that side. And we hope, I personally am one of those senators who have been pushing, and there's a bill we are developing, pushing for separation of the treasury.
Right.
So that we have one for the counties and one for the national.
For the national. Yeah, thank you so much. Let me just come to Susion because I wanted just to flip over to page 3 of the Daily Nation today because I know this is really right up your alley, and especially as we're talking about funding and the National Research Fund. We have Dr. Samuel Oyola, who is receiving 187 million shillings grant to predict disease outbreaks. This is from the Bill Gates Foundation. And I know from the budgetary allocation of this year, the Finance Bill 2026, I think things are looking up. I don't know what is the actual figure for the funding, but we've had educators really crying foul regarding research in this country and how it is short-handed with staff, underfunded.
Even before I comment, I think devolution is also very important to comment on. And the Kenya Kwanza administration has demonstrated a lot of commitment to devolution, unlike the previous administration. But there are a number of things that Kenyans need to know. One is that going into the future, the functions of devolution of devolved units might have to be increased. And when you talk of the German devolved system where it receives more money, then it means maybe there are more functions that are devolved in German system. For us, we've done the first phase with the functions within the schedule of the Constitution. But I think going into the future, we've appreciated that devolution is the best thing for this country. It's the best thing that ever happened. And therefore, we should prepare for more functions and roles of devolution. And as we do so, I hope the senators are putting in frameworks and infrastructure in place to ensure that there is zero tolerance to corruption and wastage. So that then as money goes to the counties, it can give value to the people. We can see the effect of the money in reduction of poverty and developing all regions of our country. Down to the research funding, if you look at the provision of our laws, is that we must have 2% of our GDP actually going into research. And the president was very emphatic on that one of restarting research programs within the country, and that there is almost a complete a PS in charge of research within the Ministry of Education, because then a country cannot develop if it is not informed by accurate data. It can't. And it has been demonstrated that Kenya has got the best educators in terms of, and even we drive the best research programs KEMRI is one of the best institutions within the sub-Saharan Africa. And therefore, Kenya is a good destination to be funded to engage in such certain programs. As you can see, one of our scholars is receiving millions of shillings to participate in prediction of diseases. And that prediction is not done by magic. It is done through empirical and scientific studies.
Yes.
So even as we talk of transforming the country and taking the country to the first world within the next 30 years, it is not going to be done through guesswork. It is going to be heavily supported by robust and rigorous quality research programs that is able to unpack quality data to inform all programs of government. And I think that is what the president has been very emphatic about, because we cannot be a country of guesswork and we cannot be a country of disorder. And any development that makes sense and that leads to serious transformation is founded on quality research. I'm happy to see such funding and such program coming to Kenya. And I think from the budgetary program, the 2% of the GDP should not just be a number in the budget, but it should be actual money released for various research programs across the country. And we should get our universities back to participate effectively and rigorously in research activities, so that then such funding should be going to certain universities. I wish that funding was going to either KEMRI or an institution that we know is working thoroughly and rigorously in terms of medical research.
But in terms of highlighting also some of these researches that have been done and they're seminal, and you can actually pick out and point out and say this has been a good research that we've had. I struggle to recall any. Maybe from your own accurate appraisement, you can actually tell us.
Do you know if you're a good reader and you have passion in tracking research work and research information, you will be surprised that a lot of publications.
Not about publications which are shelved in our universities and our research centers. We are talking about research that informs also actionable interventions that we have, immediate actions that we see this is from a product of a research and has made a discernible difference in Kenya. Can you recall one? Because yes, we can't be dedicating all this money.
I don't think I can just isolate and pick one, but there's so many programs.
I'm just talking about one seminal one that we know.
Do you know that the vaccine for livestock that is produced in Kenya are actually invented by Kenyans, and they have worked empirically to improve the livestock industry in Kenya. So that then, if we get down, look at the vaccines that we produce, look at the research work that goes on in our agricultural research institution, look at the research work that goes on in KEMRI. Or remember one time we almost getting Cameron and the rest. That was progress towards the right direction.
Cameron with the HIV, yeah?
Of course, yeah. Those are very progressive, rigorous scientific work that very few developed countries.
Yeah, because I think Cameron is the last one that I can remember, yes.
You can also mention the Katumani. That maize breed that is highly resistant to insect infestation.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, when you look at maize breeding and plant breeding is very well done in Kenya. You have the composite, Katumani composite, imp and whatnot, the hybrid seeds, and that we're able to have so many locally bred seeds for agricultural production in the country. We do it sufficiently as a country. We don't import seeds. We don't necessarily need to import seeds. So I think in terms of scientific research, Kenya is on top of things. We only need to twerk and move to the first world and be in Singapore.
Felicity,
I have an issue.
Yes,
I have an issue, especially on the research that he's talking about.
Yes.
I think the place where I find hope is the ICT research that we've been having in this country. The young people have done well in terms of ICT research, and that's why I feel very sad when I look at the finance bill that has just been passed that is discouraging research in, the creation of innovation. That has been one of the areas that has been hit by the finance bill that was just assented to. I don't know whether I can say that it was passed because majority of the MPs obviously were absent because 188 were outside Parliament, 162 participated, 40 voted no. So I don't know whether it actually has the mandate of the people.
But they say
one of the places that
voting electronically.
Yeah, but one of the places that hit was ICT innovation, and so we talk about putting 2% of our GDP in research.
Yes.
But then again, we come and hit the very area that we expect to find solutions to our daily problems.
So we call ourselves the Silicon Valley, yeah?
Silicon Savannah.
Silicon Savannah. Silicon Savannah here. But also we're not dedicating.
What about and are we creating an enabling environment
Indeed.
for us to become the Silicon Savannah?
Yeah, a good problem question. We take a short break. When we circle back, of course, also we shall delve deeper in another raft of issues, looking at the 120 days, as I've mentioned, that has been stipulated for the executive to make sure that his cabinet or the cabinet there is executed, as in it is the two-third general is executed so that we meet the constitutional demands as far as gender parity is concerned. We take a short break right now, don't go away.
At 8:30 p.m.
Good morning.
You have my rent?
Leo jioni kama tutakuwa tumelipa rent, nauza hii simu yako. Hamna pesa.
I need 3 G's to make my nails today.
Sasa hivi natuhusu aje?
Can I order now? Do you ship? Can I get blinking ones?
Mimi nilikuwa na trade. Nimeekelea kitele yangu. Kitele yangu na trade. Ikikunyuma.
Oh my God, you left me.
Nitumie ni live.
Uko nje kuna Wi-Fi.
Why? High five?
Wait, so what do we call this dish again?
I have no idea.
The cucumbers are there specifically for my beauty routine.
Tangulini kero umeka kwa beauty product.
Na ameenda.
Tunafaa tukuwe na logo yetu. Like, si ni brand already.
We won't entertain divas.
No. I'm not dealing with a man child.
Amazing. Nishapenda hii energy.
Sundays at 8:30 p.m. on TV47. Saturday at 8:30 p.m.
My father used to tell me that a hotel is the home for travelers. I guess I forgot that. Recently, it's been more of a mirror of my own ambition. Booyah! We might fail. We will probably fail, but not for a lack of trying. So for the last time and the first time, welcome to Connect In, the best experience in Eastern Central Africa and its environs.
Saturday at 8:30 p.m. on TV47. Wednesdays at 8:30 p.m.
This is a very serious place.
I see that.
Surely. Hey, Nyumba.
This is the place.
Indeed, as your coffee is simmering, why can't we also enjoy a very trenchant conversation here with our panelists? And we want just to begin, first of all, before we even plumb deeper on the gender parity rule and the constitution or reconstitution of the cabinet. We have Kenyans evacuees from South Africa. We had the last batch jetting in yesterday, and of course we ran you by that story, but we want to just follow through with also Danson Mungatana, who is a member of parliament in the Pan-African Parliament. This is a ticklish issue right now as it is, and everyone is looking at South Africa with a very weary eye as it is, when we are knowing they have been pushing and advancing the regulatory philosophy of Ubuntu. I am because you are. And we coexist as Africans. You know, we thrive and flourish together because we do it in a sense and in awareness of community. But this really flies, you know, in the face of what they really advocate for as far as that regulative philosophy is concerned.
Okay, I want to make a quick comment on research and development before I go into that. You see, Kenya right now is doing, the international target is 2%, the target that Kenya has put for itself, and put it out there that we shall put money for research and development. Yes. It's 2%, as my colleagues here have said. The African target for the African Union is saying all the countries who are member should be doing 1%, okay, at least 1%. But Kenya had set for itself 2%. Right now we are doing 0.8%. It is still an increase, but it's still not good enough. And this increase, I know, has come because the president is a researcher. You know, he also got a doctorate. And all of us who have been in that field, all of us who have been in research, we know that research has been really underfunded. It's one of those areas that people don't even bother. In the Ministry of Education, people don't bother. But now, because we have at the helm someone who appreciates something about that, appreciates what research, what value it can add, we've got a modest increase. And I think he had given, in one of his speeches, he had given a plan on how to increase over time. So we hope if the budget can accommodate it, then that will be done and it will be good for the country. Going back to the issue of xenophobia in South Africa, there is a feeling amongst us. Okay, let me just, for the sake of our listener, just tell them that we have a parliament for Africa, which is hosted in Johannesburg, in South Africa. And it is an AU organ. We call it the Pan-African Parliament. So there is the executive, which has the summit, and they operate from Addis Ababa. South Africa hosts the Parliament of Africa. The Gambia is supposed to host the Court of Africa, which is still in construction. But the Pan-African Parliament has been in existence, and every country sends 5 members. In Kenya, the 5 of us, I head that delegation. So the 55 countries have 5 members each. So
who is the member? I know Esther Passaris is one of them.
The members are Passaris, Mukami, Majimbo Kalasinga, Professor Kamar, and myself. So I head that team. Okay. And it's supposed to balance gender, opposition, whatnot, all this. So in Kenya, we are doing well. So anyway, South Africa has a historical issue around the xenophobia. Most of those countries, they feel like they are part and parcel of one another. It's the feeling you get, say, when you are in Busia. Uganda and Kenya, you remember many years ago, you could pay your ticket in Kampala to come all the way to Kenya, do your business, go to Tanzania. University was one. People used to go to Dar es Salaam University. I think this sounds like such a long story, but it used to be like that in East Africa. And even we used to use the shilling, the same currency, yes, for the entire area. The same railway, we didn't have
the same airlines.
The same airlines, African Airlines. We used to be like one country. That's why you see Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania still has that feeling. Although we have added Somalia, Burundi, Rwanda, all this, but Kenya and Uganda and Tanzania still has that feeling. Many people who are educated in Makerere in Kenya are still alive, Those who went and got their law degrees there, some of them, okay, it's a phasing generation, but they are still alive and they're here. So it's the same feeling people had around South Africa. If you can appreciate what I'm talking about, it's the same feeling that South Africa you know, Malawi, Zimbabwe, Zambia, those countries around that place, Lesotho, they feel like they are one and the same parcel, you know. You would be living, say, for the copper belt, you know, the copper mines in Kitwe, huko juu, in Zambia. But you go there for about a year, but your wife is in Zimbabwe. So later on in the year you come back, and then after the break you go back to the other side. And there was all this, the tribes are the same. If you're speaking this language, you'll find it in South Africa, you'll find it in Zimbabwe, you'll find it in Malawi. The way they speak, the way you'll find, you know, because when these Mfekane wars were done by Shaka the Zulu,
yes,
they spread the entire, so these people are really actually one. So that when you are from Mozambique and you are working in South Africa, the sense is that we are just in the same space. But then somewhere along the way, when South Africa got its independence, they brought a lot, let me just say, Uzunguism. You know, they started blocking people, okay? People who you are assisting the other day, you know, to get their independence. They started sort of like being very protectionist around it. Going to that country became a problem. You know, you had to get a visa, and you are just from the neighbors. So that feeling, and he's the big brother because he's the biggest economy around that place. I mean, it's like Kenya here in East Africa, saying you need a visa, and then they are so strict about who is here, who isn't, neighbors, you know. So over time, this started having an effect, okay? And it's a build-up. What we are seeing now is actually a build-up. So over time, you know, South Africa realized that they are going in a direction that many people, many African countries don't like. So they started easing off. You remember there was Rwanda and then Kenya that says we are opening our skies. If you are from Africa, you just come and we'll give you the visa when you're here. So many people started finding Kenya, Nairobi is a place we can just go and go back. South Africa still had those regulations, very tough regulations. Then they changed. They also said we are going to, and it's just this year, they started saying we are going. First they said, oh, it's bilateral. Let's say Kenya and South Africa. But then they opened to all African nations to be able to go. But then inside there now, the people inside South Africa, you will find there's a feeling that Zimbabweans, Malawians, Mozambicans have come and taken over their jobs. That's the feeling that is there. That we should be doing, for example, they call it this matatu business, they call it taxi business. We should be doing it, and we have a lot of competition from neighbors. So
thank you. I appreciate the background, but I just wanted to know, for you as a Pan-African, you know, parliament, what are you going to do about this particular issue? Because we've not had any intervention also from your arm of AU, right? So at least even the African Union will have spoken quite forcibly around this issue. It really flies also against what we believe as Africans, that this is an African Union, and yet the body itself is not really embodying.
The African Union works in this manner, that the presidents meet only twice or if there's an emergency. So the person who runs the secretariat is the person we elected the other day. That man from the man we competed against and we lost. So they have issued a statement to say that they discourage that and whatever. It's a general statement. But we as a parliament, we are supposed to resume there on 18th, and we'll go there for like 3 weeks for debates and the normal thing. And it's on the list that we are going to discuss this matter and pass a resolution.
Fine, let's leave it at that. Okay, let me just come to Felicity right now and just tackle also the issue of the day as well. And I know also this is pertinent to you, looking at the reconstitution of the cabinet. It's been long in waiting.
Yeah.
We're also talking about also the sunsets, that is the sunset rule of, the gender rule here in this country.
Yes.
We've never arrived. We're always arriving. So
Yes.
do you think this is going to make a discernible difference?
I think it's a good pointer, because at least somebody is showing that there's something wrong. That the law is not being obeyed, that it's unconstitutional. But the most disappointing thing is that, especially with the Kenya Kwanza, is that I remember talking about it somewhere, that Kenya Kwanza had promised that 50% of its cabinet was going to be female. Yes, do you remember that? Yes.
No, he's just putting a poker face because he doesn't want to acknowledge. In his heart, he does acknowledge.
Oh, I thought he was doubting what I'm saying.
No, he's not doubting.
But I do remember that there was, before the elections, there was a time when the president, the current president now, met with the women in UDA, and one of the promises was that the cabinet was going to be 50%.
Yes.
50-50.
Yes.
So when it was named, it was a little disappointing that it was not. And as if that is not enough, you can see now the court has ruled that the constitution of the cabinet is unconstitutional. So of course we expect that the president is going to obey the court ruling and do the right thing. Yeah, because he needs to set a good example. He needs to set the tone at the top, must indicate that we are ready to follow our constitution.
So also from this particular events that we had, just as a build-up to coming up with the Kenya Kwanza administration, it seems the county forums that were there, the women forums, women in business, I remember very well. And some of them, or their faces, we can see them, they were given some very lucrative jobs as well at the end of the day. Yeah, but the question is, so was this just what they call the do-gooder posturing? Before now, when it comes now to the action for you to implement, it's a different.
I think the message from us and as women and as Kenyans is that we are listening and we are watching.
Okay.
So whatever was being promised before the elections, we had. What was done, we saw. And we are happy that the court has made this ruling. Yeah. So we expect the president to do the right thing and obey the law. Yeah. Make sure that the cabinet is constitutionally constituted. Yeah.
Okay, let's hear from Sosyon.
Yes, even as a comment on that one, this xenophobic thing, allow me a few seconds.
Okay.
Post-colonial Africa was controlled through strict borders that restrict movement of citizens within the continent. And the aspiration of 63 is about strengthening intra-African trade and adding value to our minerals within the continent and free movement of goods and services across the continent. We've seen great positive strides within East Africa. Even there is a lot of labor mobility, which is well accommodated by the different economies. So really, South Africa cannot be an isolationist entity that puts in extreme restrictions to the rest of the Africans who would want to do trade. If we are talking about intra-African trade and a very prosperous Africa, then we should allow free movement of goods, services, and people, including labor mobility. And so xenophobia is the wrong thing for us to experience, particularly when South Africa is a country that the entire Africa stood and struggled for. So I'm sure these are matters to be handled within the continental organs so that then we don't have things that takes us backward. We want to be free, and we would like to see citizens from across the continents and regions doing trade. There would be not, I found Congolese doing hawking materials in Bomet and Rwandese, and they're doing well. Nobody bothers with them. And there are Kenyans I found a Nyamachoma zone, very good one in Rwanda. And you get Kenyans everywhere, and they're doing very well. So this is what we need for the continent of Africa. Then back to the matter, this one of gender. I think the Constitution is clear, and there's been a lot of efforts for the last 26 years to implement the two-third gender rule. And true indeed, Kenya Kwanza was so committed that it will be implemented within 50-50. A very short time. Not just on 50-50, even the provision of two-third, both in the National Assembly, the President pronounced himself about the cabinet, but of course that was never achieved. There is a court ruling that has been mentioned, and we all know the President and Kenya Kwanza respect the rulings of the courts, and I'm sure this is an item that government will apply its mind on. There's an Attorney General, there are institutions to deal with that, and these are matters that I'm sure it will be handled the way other judgments have been handled in the past. But I think as a country, we've made a lot of progress in terms of gender parity, except in the political space that, of course, with the National Assembly, the intentions and the objectives of achieving it, there have been a lot of roadblocks about it. But I believe we should be able to overcome these obstacles so that, in fact, by now, we should not be talking about two-third gender rule being in the Constitution. We should be talking about when to retire it, because affirmative provisions cannot exist forever. Yeah. They exist for a period of time to achieve a goal of equality. Once that is achieved, then it is retired. Yeah. And once it is retired, we have a society where there is parity. But it is important for Kenyans to note that the struggle for gender equality is not an event. It is a process. It has always gone on. It will go on. And it is one of the goals of Sustainable Development Goals agenda. And it is being implemented everywhere in education, so that then when we talk about gender equality and two-third gender rule to be complied with by government institutions and all entities, it is something that we need to do an analysis across board. Check how has education complied with two-third gender rule. For example, if I talk about my sector, if you talk of heads of institutions, have we complied with two-third gender rule by now? That school leadership, at least two-third are either gender. Have we really done it? We need to do a cross-board analysis and have targets and timelines so that we are able to get this problem off the table once and for all.
I think it's there, Mr. Sosio. Already this data exists. It exists on appointive and elective. And he has clearly said himself that in the political arena, we are not doing well. In the appointive, we are doing better than in the political. In the lower cadre education, we are doing very well. We are okay.
No, it's not okay. If you look at data,
let me tell you, the only problem...
If I was to give you accurate data so that she continues, is that the heads of institution, about 25% are female. 75% are males. That is accurate scientific data. And so the responsibility of working on parity rests with the institutions within the sector. So that then what I was talking about is that we should be able to audit every sector and see what efforts they are putting in place to ensure that there is actually gender parity, so that it's not an item for political or street discussions, but it is an item that is thoroughly implemented.
But the tone at the top says a big thing. Because, once the tone at the top, I remember during Kibaki's time when there was 6 cabinet secretaries, women, that's the time everybody was like, wait a minute, you mean this not more than 2/3 gender law is actually a serious thing? So when the president obeyed the Constitution, at that point, everybody else sits up and says, okay, we also have to do the same. Because the boss is doing the right thing, everybody else follows suit. Yes. So that's why I'm saying the tone at the top
Very important.
Very important.
Kagame has picked the tone at the top, right?
Yes.
Leading in Africa, actually leading in the world, because I think when it comes to that gender parity, they're at least over 65, or 65% as it is right now. So what else, you're talking of benchmarking, can we learn from that particular country?
No, Rwanda has very unique circumstances. Huh?
Which are?
No. You don't, maybe for information, during their war of attrition, a lot of men lost their lives, okay? So even when now the country became stable and whatever, there were more women who had gone to school, more women who were available to take up positions, and it was easier also to then bring them into the government.
So this is akin to what really happened in World War I and World War II.
Yeah, there is.
Is that factual?
It's a factual.
That's a very interesting perspective. I've never really looked at it that way.
That's what I'm also saying. They need to tell that.
Okay. The women in Rwanda are many. I mean, that's why in their government structure, it's different from our government structure. In Kenya, it has been, we thank God we've not had that kind of a bad experience, but we have been a very paternalistic society. So this gender rule has had to progress over the years. But again, we have to be fair to ourselves. You see,
But is it a fact that, it could be a contributor, truly, but given the population also that was decimated with the genocide, could that really account to what
I'm telling you, because we relate with our colleagues there, and they tell us how it is with them.
No, I was just wondering
and
from
how
what empirical data
for them now, it is like an acceptable thing that they must have at least 50%. For them. And then remember, their system is a bit different. Complying in the Kenyan system, political, is harder as opposed, say, to the appointed positions. Yeah. If you look at the political arrangements we have, it is you have to win your seat, and that has been the real issue. How do you decide that in Garsen, Galole, and Bura constituencies in Tana River County, how do you decide which one should go for a woman, which one should go for a man? You see, in Kenya, it is direct competition. Unlike, say, in South Africa, UDA will win, and UDA will announce, will apportion the number of seats for men, for women. So you can even do a zebra, 1-1-1-1 like that, because it's the political party that wins, and they follow the party list.
And their point.
The party list is a very simple system for bringing gender parity. But in Kenya, it is first by the poll. So if I win, if Sofion or Madame is capable of winning, why should I put a man there as a political party? So we have those difficulties. But in terms of now within our political party, let me speak about UDA. UDA now has a policy. If we have an election today and the chair is a man, the woman must be a vice chair. If it's the woman who wins, the man must be a vice chair. And it goes for all the positions. So it's easier to do it where you have full control. But sometimes when you don't have full control, like in our situation now, the political parties, the members of parliament and Senate, we have been able to do it. Because in the Senate, our arrangement is different. Our arrangement is constitutional. If you elect, more women, the men will be increased. If you elect more men, the 47, because we have 47 delegations. So if you elect more men, the women you have to appoint nominated senators to balance the 1/3. If you elect more women, you have to balance by appointing more men. So the Senate always complies because the law is there and it's in the Constitution. But the members of Parliament, they don't have that system in that side. Now coming to the cabinet, I think that the High Court has pronounced itself through a a three-page judge. The High Court has said that Article 27 of the Constitution has been breached, and the High Court has gone ahead to say that we are giving you 120 days for you to make good, which means the president has 120 days to make changes in the cabinet so that he can bring 2 people who are of the female gender to balance the cabinet. Obviously, it has political ramifications. So what I expect from our side, because politics is difficult to balance, I expect an appeal, because the High Court has done before, has made very huge pronouncement, and on appeal they have been set aside. So we expect, I personally as a lawyer, I expect an appeal, so that the Court of Appeal then can give either an affirmation of that order, or a variation of that order, or a dismissal of that order. I also expect from the decision of the Court of Appeal that if the side of the government or the other side that has petitioned is not happy, they will go to the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court will either affirm or dismiss what the Court of Appeal has done. So, in short, what I'm saying is that the litigation is still open. It's not a final decision.
But we can see,
is open.
we can see the sleight of hand that will be played with this sort of gimmicks around it, with the legality.
Gimmicks.
No, it is because
it's a legal process.
It is a legal process. Yes, I agree.
But we are saying,
the dead hand of bureaucracy that really goes on also with the legal process itself will beat the time.
And
by the time now we're going to the next general election.
Yes.
We don't need a cabinet.
All this coming from a party, a political party that promised 50-50. Yeah?
Indeed.
They made a promise and said we are going to have, the cabinet is going to be 50% female, 50% male. That was before the elections.
Correct.
But once people gave them the vote, particularly the women, because of that promise, now suddenly we know it's a legal process, and we know that we can appeal. We can even go to the Supreme Court. We are going to take the longest time so that we don't achieve the more than 2/3.
But you have a case in point, and Kirote also, she's on a point. What happened? No. Look, let me just ask you a simple question.
Yes.
CJ Emeritus issued a dissolution of cabinet.
Yes.
To President Uhuru Kenyatta.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Even when he was still, during his tenure, what happened to it? Hasn't now the same court came up now and dismissed it because of the interest of what? Time. It has been overtaken by time. Don't you see this will be the same scenario with this particular? So once you're saying, can we take it to the higher Court of Appeal, take it to the Supreme Court, then we have the same fate of what happened with Uhuru's
Can I answer you?
Yes.
We are watching.
You cannot approbate and reprobate. If you say that what you have is a court judgment and it's constitutional, and if I say I'm not satisfied, I'm going to the Court of Appeal, you should also appreciate that I'm using the same, my rights. Your rights are not superior to my rights. It's like if I win my election and I become a constitutional creature, I'm now the senator of Tana River County, but my competitor is not happy and he's filing an appeal. I cannot come and say, no, what you're doing is wrong. No,
I agree.
I have to give him the right. And this is the problem with Kenyans. People think that their rights are superior to the other rights of the other Kenyans. So then you decide you're going to say, do a demonstration on a day that I'm working in my shop, and you steal all my mobile phones, and you think your right to demonstration is superior to my right to having protection of my property. And then when you come out and say, look, the teachers are demonstrating, the doctors The nurses, they do their demonstration, but they don't come to my shops and break into my shops. They do their thing, I do my thing. Why is it that you can't accept that you are wrong when you insist that your right is superior to my right? So let's just say this,
Yes.
That for me, I want to say that the government, the administration which is in power now, has been sanctioned by the High Court. Now, but they have their rights. Don't imagine that your right that you obtained from the High Court is superior to their right. So, but they have their right also to say, I agree, we need to reconstitute this cabinet. So if the president and his team say, we agree, then they will comply. If they say no, we still want to exhaust our rights, then we should also accept. One of the things that baffles me, the president of the Supreme Court is a female. The deputy president is a female. Nobody has ever really gone into the judiciary to ask the question, you are giving judgments on this, like the way Justice Emeritus Maraga did. Now the High Court has said, yes. Have you done an assessment within the institution of judiciary itself?
Is there any illegality?
Have you done an assessment, so that,
just listening to the CJ reason.
I'm trying to say this, I'm trying to say this. If you are pointing a finger at me, there are 3 others which are pointing at you, and one is reporting to God. So let us say that none of us, like the Bible says, none of us is holy here. We have all fallen short of the glory of God and short of the 1/3 gender rule, and we need to do something about it. What I'm happy about is that this is a conversation we are having. But let us have this conversation within the constitutional framework.
But you are playing now, the AG, is you're trying to advise the government that, you can appeal this particular sanction by the High Courts. There's a legal room that you can do.
But you know what, Dibal?
Why are you holding forth the government? You have the AG, you can be advised by the government.
I think what these people need to understand, and I'm speaking as a woman, is that we hear you and what you're saying.
Yes.
And we know you have a right to appeal up to the Supreme Court. But what we are saying is that the election promise was a 50-50. That was what came out of the appointing authority's mouth as a promise, that you vote for this government, we are going to give you a 50-50 cabinet. So we voted, they won, and when the cabinet was being constituted, it was not only, it was far from 50-50. It was even unconstitutional. It was not meeting the bare minimum. And now that the court is pointing it out and saying you have not met the bare minimum, the response is that we still have a right to appeal to the High Court, so and apart from that, we are going to go to the Supreme Court. So what we are saying is that there is no goodwill.
No, just hang on.
There's no goodwill.
What you are trying to
hearing is not what
you are trying to misframe. You actually misframing.
I'm not misframing.
We can hear what
we are saying. Yes, because we are being caught up in this
what
web.
Senator Mungatana
we can hear what we're saying.
In fact, what Mungatana is expressing here is a statement of fact.
Which
and also what we are saying is a statement of fact.
Yes, it is a statement of political
fact.
Fact, yes.
Yes.
So all of them are facts.
Yeah.
And we are now in a conundrum. And I've said
there's no conundrum.
This
the law is
matters of gender parity has not been effectively looked at across board. He has cited the composition of the Judicial Service.
And we've said there's nothing illegal about the constitution of the judiciary.
As the president of the Supreme Court, don't you think the vice president should also be a man?
Don't you think the vice president of Kenya should be a woman?
But then nobody has questioned.
Don't you think that the vice president of Kenya should be a woman?
Yes, either way.
Yeah.
So the thing is, there are gaps, there are items that have not been addressed, and it is a space
Let's deal with
that
the matter
exists.
in court.
But then the matter at hand.
Yes.
Any person who has received a judgment, whether against you or when it's against you, there is always an avenue to appeal, and you appeal with reasons.
Yes,
you appeal with reasons.
That point.
You don't just file for the sake. And therefore, this matter, it is still possible if the Attorney General advises that we can appeal because of sufficient reasons, it can be done. And if that appeal is done, the Court of Appeal will entertain it. And if parties don't agree at the Court of Appeal, then it moves to the Supreme Court. That's a fact.
But something about the political promise.
Yes, let me just, because what I'm trying to actually put across is the fact that you see, yes, what you're speaking is a fact.
Yes.
It's a fact of law.
It's a fact of law. We have to go through the process. We go through, the propriety of it until the end. But the question is, aren't we as Kenyan being caught up in this sort of a legislation or maybe legal process loop like what we had before? Yeah. Because even the next administration will use the same gimmicks, so to speak, and the courts
to circumvent the law
will take us through the same loop again, and this will be a vicious loop.
So let me...
Then how do we break this Gordian knot?
Okay, agreed. I see where you are coming from. But you see, the difference between you and me is that you're trained in journalism. I'm trained in the law. So for me, it's so easy to accept that this is not a final judgment. You are so easy to say it's a gimmick, it's a whatever.
No, I'm not.
That's what you're saying. Those are the words. Those are words.
You're not saying it's a final
Those
judgment.
are the words you're using,
No.
and I'm trying to tell you, you are in my space. Okay.
No.
Allow me to tell you the facts
of law,
and the facts are that the processes have not been exhausted, but there is the political question. So we separate the law and the politics. The political question is, did we promise as an administration that we will give 50% to the women? Is that on record? Like my colleague here has said, it is on record.
Very good.
Now, is it true that all the political promises that I give before I come into office, I am able to execute them? Now, when I am outside here, looking to be a president, looking to be a governor, it's so easy from the perspective of my county. Let me just say, for example, Tana River, we have a very huge burden of unsettled or unpaid bills, okay, that traders are asking. And the current governor has not been able to settle them. So if, let's say, I'm not running for governor, I'm running for Senate, but hypothetically, assuming that I'm running for governor, from outside, I'll be saying the first thing I will do, within the first 100 days, I will settle all those bills because our people are suffering and so on. Then you enter the county government and then you realize even exchequer releases,
relevant examples.
Exchequer releases are difficult. You know, even paying my own salary is difficult.
No, give relevant examples.
You come to the conclusion that, in fact, reality check will hit you. So the same thing can happen when you give a promise.
Senator, compare apples with apples.
Such that you are now in government. You've entered the space. Now you are now in charge. And let's say you promised, there are very many promises in terms of political division of positions. Maybe the person who gave you a political party, they joined the Kenya Kwanza. You told them, I'll give you 2 cabinet slots, I'll give you PSAs, I'll give you what? The other person, you told him, okay, you are now my deputy, I should give you this, we'll do this. But this region, we are not getting a deputy, you are giving us this, you are giving us that. I'm giving you the reasoning.
The reality,
now.
yeah.
The reality. And then, Northeastern, we say that, okay, we will get a Muslim. Coast, we say this and that. And so then we sit. Then I have NIS. Now I'm the president. I have the raw intelligence. This man is pushing for 3 slots, but when you do this, you're hurting this side. Yes, you gave a promise that you will do all the dams, all these dams in Eastern Province. But when you do that, you're hurting the coast. So there are all these balancing promises. And I think when the reality check came, they were not able to do the 1/3, okay, to balance. Now the court has said, is it now possible? Now that's what I'm saying. There's a political and there's a legal path. If the political path, like if the president sits with his team now, with his advisors and everybody else, and they find it fit, then they will ask 2 guys to get out, okay? But if they see that there is an issue, then the legal path is always available. So I think at the end of it, you cannot hold me to a promise. Before we got married, you promised me 3 children. Then we come into the marriage and I discover I'm impotent, you know. Then you're still pushing me. Then, you're putting my life in a very difficult position. There's the reality and there's the aspiration. So what I'm saying is, right now, the legal and political,
the senator to get away.
the legal and political
explanation.
must be given their own space.
Yes, but how then do we vote for you as Kenyans? Isn't it because of promissory notes? The pledges that you make.
But you're giving
those are pacts that you
senator,
give. So you cannot at the end of the day come and say that this is the reality on the ground.
What the senator is not giving relevant examples. Yeah. For instance, I agree with what he's saying, that the promises that have been made about regions and parties and all this. But the issue is he saying that for instance, there are no qualified women from Northeastern? Is he saying that there are no qualified women from any part of this country in different political parties? I think every political party has both genders. Both genders are qualified. So this is purely goodwill. It has nothing to do with qualifications or political balancing. It just has to do with goodwill and promising things that you don't intend to honor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But also it's on to a point, because we can look at the political question doctrine that is being stipulated here. First of all, yes, we have all these promises. Maybe people who bankrolled your campaign as well. We have people and the parties you've merged as well.
Correct.
And we find, especially when it comes to the women, they are bit, I'm not saying all of them, so I don't want to use a generalization, broad stroke brush to paint all of them. They maybe never had that wherewithal. But now this comes the reality, you are actually bankrolling also my campaign, then this is a payback that you need to, this is the conundrum maybe.
You're not Debal.
What do you really
are coming from a very experienced politician of almost 40 years. This is somebody who understands the dynamics and the situation, as it were, in Kenya.
Okay.
So when you're making these promises, you understand. It's like the way he's talking about promising to pay all pending bills in the first 100 days. I mean, even I, as a voter, would know that you're punching above you're promising something that you might not be able to deliver. But this one for 50-50 on women could have been one of the biggest wins for him if he would have done it as promised.
You need to lead a political institution and deal with all these challenges so that the complication of implementing what you aspire. You really aspire. I want 50-50 here, I want 2/3 here. But then when you get down, there are obviously complicated challenges. And because it's not you alone leading, it's collective. So really, those are some of the obvious challenges that exist within that space. But I think as a country, and as even we debate all these, we should agree with one thing, that really we should move towards clearing off the issue of gender parity in all institutions and everywhere within the country. And the judgment that has been delivered by the High Court, because as a country, we've relied on our judicial system to guide us in decisions that are even political, because appointments to the cabinet is a political decision, and there are political challenges. You can be very aspirational.
It's in the Constitution.
You can be very, very aspirational, even in manifesto, even in whatever commitments, but then that you may not do it absolutely 100%. You can perform 40%, 60% of the same, but that does not mean you don't intend to do it. But I think from here, according to me, there is need to ensure that this country puts behind the issue of gender parity. And maybe we should move to a phase of constitutional review where we could even do away with the women representatives.
And we know that debate was
the women
very hot.
representatives in the constitution are meant to advance gender equality.
Yes.
And we should get to a season where women themselves can be generally very competitive at constituency level, and they can win seats democratically within the minimum threshold of 1/3. If we are able to get the country to that level, then we'll not need all this debate. So all this was put in the constitution to assist in the advancement, but it should not exist forever. It is a phenomenon that we should be able to deliberately implement it through our constitutional framework, our legal framework, our policy positions, so that then we achieve gender parity across all sectors, not only within the political space.
All right, I don't know if this
some information.
Yeah.
During the constitution of the first cabinet after 2022, we were Kenya Kwanza, you get. And I know one political party, I don't want to name it, that was very angry. They were told, now, give your name. I promised you one cabinet slot. Give us your name.
And give us some.
And then they gave the name. And then they were told, no, we cannot accommodate another man. Give us a woman. And that political party was very adamant. Furious. Very annoyed. And as a matter of fact, very annoyed. And it's still a wound that is still there. Because they were told, no, you must, there's no other way.
But the
now,
fact is give a woman.
When you are constituting cabinet and you have information from even the security agencies and from your political and everybody else. So they're telling you, these ones are the ones who must give us the woman. Now, that balancing, and the regions, people are bringing just men. So some people are told, from your region also, you must bring us more women. And people are very angry. So you are starting with a cabinet, some of whom you did not really anticipate they will be there. Okay, then we had a reconstitution of cabinet after some time. Then we brought in other people, and they brought in men, And you see, you cannot sit down and tell at some point, there is a way you can push, at some point you can't. By the time if I win my seat today, I have a lot of political strength. But as time goes on, and this is a normal thing, even a president, even a governor, when their time is coming to an end, they don't have as much political weight to push people as they would do when they are new in office or they have a renewed mandate. So if you are in a state where somebody is coming in is saying, okay, my condition is this, I'm going to join you, but you give me 2 or 3 slots or whatever, 1 slot in this, 1 slot in that and the other. And then I'm the president and I'm telling you, look, I need to address the issue of 1/3.
Yes.
Then you say, no, look, these are the people I'm giving. It's you take or you don't want, it's your problem.
No,
you
and
see,
I'll also tell
wait, I am negotiating. I am trying to keep my cabinet together, to deliver on other promises, So if I breach this promise so that I can deliver on the stability of the country, the security, and also deliver on another promise of development and whatever, I think you know,
so
I am saying
you breach it conveniently.
No, I am saying
inclusion
Dipal,
is not a favor.
I'm saying this, that people need to be in the space we are in.
No.
I accept, I accept activists. I even accept priests when they talk about us going to heaven.
Okay.
I accept activists when they say we must have this. I accept youth when they say we must have this. But then let us also accept that the person who is also given that authority has to balance all these things. And sometimes they are not perfect.
No. But he's living in the reality of also the fidelity to the Constitution.
Yes.
So you cannot come here and say these are the dynamics that we find it on the ground. The Constitution is very expressly, clear on this matter, that this is how it should be constituted.
And it's not a question.
So
it's
that
not a question
we do
of
not have the courts really coming, back and forth all the time.
It's
on
not
the
a question.
issue.
It's not a question of debate.
Let me.
It's not a question of debate.
Let's hear from
It's not a question of debate. The Constitution is clear, and it understands everything that you're talking about, Senator, and it knows that it's achievable. And inclusion is not a favor. We must work with everybody in this society. We need the male, we need the female, we need the old, we need the young, we need people living with disabilities. We need to include everybody. The way you're speaking, it's as if it's the preserve of one demography. That is not the case, and we must change the way we think and look at things. All you need to do, even we as human resource professionals, when we are recruiting, we know very well we must have the face of Kenya. We need to include people from different parts of this country. We know that we need to have 5% people living with disability as per the law. We know that we need not more than 2/3 in a corporate setting. And we have to balance all these things. We cannot say, in this institution, we need 6 general managers, and now we've been given 6 men, we cannot find 2 women or 3 women. It doesn't work like that. The president will just tell that political party that you're talking about, I need 3 names from you, and 1 must be female. Must.
All right.
And I'm not giving you an option.
Can I just finish by saying this? This is what we call the burdens of leadership. And you have to accept as a father, this son will come and tell you that, your daughter will come and say that, all these things, the burden of leadership. And I accept that it is not perfect. It's not perfect. And the courts are right in saying it's not perfect. But we are balancing so many things. And that's why I'm saying the president has that opportunity to do politics, follow the political path or follow the legal path. Either way, he'll be correct. Either way, he'll be correct. All I'm saying, again, is that when you get into office, balancing issues is a reality, and it makes you look imperfect. I like to cite that advisory of Maraga. This is a person who is saying, dissolve parliament. Dissolve parliament, and his salary must come from that parliament. Police salaries must come from that parliament. Civil service must come from, even the car he's driving, the driver must have that salary to drive him there. But dissolve parliament.
So what was Maraga supposed to say?
Dissolve parliament.
No.
So I'm just saying, he gave an advisory according to him, according to what he interpreted the Constitution to be. And everyone was saying he's right. Then the same Court of Appeal says, no, there's an issue here, blah, blah, blah. So that's why I'm saying practical realities sometimes. I mean, if I dissolved parliament at that time, if I was the president, if I was President Uhuru, and dissolved parliament at that time, throw the country into
a disarray.
And then the same constitution again does not guarantee me that I will get 1/3 of the women, elected.
If elections are called.
So if the elections are called, so I will run another billions of shillings to IBC and then get the same results, because the men will be more all the time. unless it is the Senate side which has a constitution. So the problem is the constitution must be fixed in Parliament, okay, which has not been done.
Okay.
So for me, I think we need to be, again, we accept there's a problem, but we also accept the realities.
Right.
I think we accept there's a problem. There's a judgment, but then that will be handled administratively if it is, you know, sometimes a court can deliver a judgment that is difficult to implement. So you go back to the same court and explain to the same court in a civilized way why it is difficult for you to implement that. And that is why, as a constitutional democracy, we submit to the judiciary, and that particular option is open. But of course, as we've discussed, Dibal, the latitude of dealing with gender parity in the country is so wide, and there is room to do that. Some may be corrected after the next elections. And you know, to aspire 50-50 gender is a big level of investment in gender parity. I was thinking through, and I'm looking at Namibia, where the lady is elected as president.
Yes.
And
she appoints a deputy,
yes,
a woman, and she appoints over 3/4 of the cabinet
women
as women. You look at that.
They've balanced for Kenya also.
That's why.
But you look at what the government is doing here in Kenya. It's so much balanced, and you can see even ladies are posted to the most serious portfolios.
No. Thank you.
And
so let's wrap up.
Kenya, we are doing well, but there is room to do far
we
much
are not
better.
doing.
Your final remarks?
I want to say we are not doing well. We take it very seriously that we are being given promises that will never be honored. I have not even mentioned or touched on the Pampers that we were promised, or the sanitary pads. And so it just becomes an issue of promises upon promises that are not being honored.
Mm-hmm.
And then now we want to see whether the Constitution is going to be obeyed via the court ruling. So we are watching, we are waiting to hear the excuses that are going to be given.
Thank you.
And we are taking note for 2027.
All right, Felicity, thank you. We want to thank you, gentlemen, even as we're closing. By the way, I just wondered, as we're closing, if I want to run for a woman rep seat, am I barred by the Constitution on gender bias?
No, it's a county MP. It's not actually a woman.
But it's for women.
It's a county MP.
It's a county MP,
County
isn't it?
member of parliament.
So Dibal can.
So I can run for my woman rep. Many Kenyans don't roll that. I can actually run for a woman rep, even me, to represent women, isn't it? So yeah, it is good to know.
Yes,
yeah.
It's county MP. It's not women.
It is county MP. It's not women.
You mustn't be a woman?
No, you mustn't. You mustn't. Yeah.
If you doubt, go to court for interpretation. The courts are there to interpret for you.
But the women will never allow you.
They will never allow us. They never allow us. No, you can try. Yeah, Sosion. You say you want to run for the county rep of Nairobi. It's another option. The ladies they like you.
You are not going
for the constituents.
With the mood and the spirit, you are not going to step out of your house to pronounce it.
Even your wife won't give you the vote.
You will be fought from your bedroom.
Thank you so much, gentlemen, and Felicity. We really do appreciate the conversation. Thank you for your valued company. And of course, Health Matters up next with Anne.